Hello, beautiful people. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to do a full face of NYX products. I noticed that I had quite a bit and that I could put a full face together for you and let you know what I think about some of these products for the more experienced gal. So let's jump right into a full face of NYX products. I usually use my Biore Watery Essence as my sunscreen, but today we're going to try the NYX Blur Screen. So it feels very nice. It doesn't have a sunscreen feel to it. Doesn't have a sunscreen smell to it. So I like it. It's an SPF 30 instead of 50, but it's also supposed to serve as a little bit of a primer, blurring primer. However, I have some other primers that I also want to use in different areas of my face. You don't have to just stick to one primer all over your face. And the first one is the face glue. And it is a gripping primer. And I like to put that just on my cheeks and forehead a little bit. And everywhere else, I need something that's going to help with reducing pore size and that kind of thing. I also love, I want to give a shout out to though, the Plump Right Back. I think it helps with fine lines and wrinkles. So in spots I have those, I'm going to put that on. And I'm not saying you have to do this, goodness, no. I'm just giving you lots of options depending on what your needs are. I have a lot of different needs. And then I also have this pore filler stick. And I'm going to use that everywhere I see visible pores, the T-zone, the cheeks. And you would think if it helps with pores that it would also help with fine lines as well. I'm just going to kind of press it in. Okay, so far so good. Right, got my earrings in now. Saw that I had forgotten those. Now I'm going to try some Angel Veil, which is also a primer, but I'm going to try it underneath my eyes. Because I need some moisturization beneath my eyes. Even though I did the eye masks underneath, I think they did help with depuff, but they kind of left my under eyes a little bit dry. So we'll see if this helps. Okay. Now I do have some, it's glitter primer for the eyelids. And even if I'm not going to do any glitter today, I still need some primer. But I'm going to use some of the HD concealer from NYX. That looks like this. And this is in the shade Fair. And I'm going to mix a little bit of the glitter primer. And I'll be using the Ultimate Warm Neutrals. I'm going to go ahead and set this concealer with the, let's see, the shade right here is a matte. And in between each color, even though I switch brushes, I like to clean off that brush with the shadow switcher, this type of deal. Okay, now for my crease shade, I'm still going to pick a matte, and I think I'm going to go with this one right here. Still pretty light, but I've used this before, and I remember that it was still pretty pigmented. Okay, now I'm going to go in a little bit darker, still staying with the matte. Let's try this one right here. On the outer corner here. Now I'm going to take a pencil brush, which is shaped like this. It's pretty dense at the top. And I'm going to go into this light shimmer that's at the bottom. Do that along the lower lash line. I'm also going to get right in that corner. So I'm making a straight line. I'm going to bring that up just a little bit and over. Similar to what you would do if you were doing a winged liner, but this is just shadow, nothing fancy. I hear my kitty on the other side of the door. She's a calico named Callie. I wonder how many calico cats are named Callie. Probably a whole bunch. That wasn't very original, was it? She's saying out. It's the only word she knows. So after this, I'm going to go let her out, or she will continue to stand at the door and say out. Okay, now I think I'm going to do some shimmers. I'm going to go a little bit lighter. This one right here. And I'm just going to use my finger. So here's what that looks like. I'm going to go right kind of in the middle and over, but not all the way to the inside yet. I keep a baby wipe on my vanity for cleaning off whatever I need to clean off. And then I like to go a little bit lighter for the inner corner. So I'm going to go with this shimmer right here. Looks like this. going to do some blending out. But this is just a clean brush. All right, now we're going to clean up the outer corners. And you can take any moisturizer. Sometimes I like to use micellar water, but sometimes I like using moisturizer. And a Q-tip. I used to think that you really needed the pointy Q-tips. They're more expensive. And then I realized, you know what? Regular shaped Q-tips do just as good of a job. Okay, so we tried to keep a straight line from here to here. So I just dipped my Q-tip in some moisturizer and kind of rub the excess off. It's also good for getting your under eyes ready for concealer. Okay, now for under eye concealer, I'm going to use this Bear With Me in the shade Light. And it comes in a pump. So I'm just going to pump some out on my fingers. And just tap across. And then I'm going to go into, this is my Alter Ego concealer brush. It's shaped like the Kitten Paw Angie Hot and Flashy from BK Beauty at a fraction of the price. I'm going to go ahead and set the under eyes. I'm going to use this Can't Stop, Won't Stop powder. I'm seeing how bad my fingers look today. If you've never watched my channel before, let me explain that I play violin. I have extremely short fingernails. All right. Okay, now normally when I'm doing other people's makeup, I stick to gel eyeliner in the pot with a brush. But today, I'm going to use this skinny NYX eye pencil in black. It's very creamy. Also, I usually have to line each side a little differently because I have unevenly hooded eyes. I'm also a lash artist, so I keep lash extensions on. So you kind of have to be careful in putting on eyeliner with your extensions. If I let somebody else do my extensions, they would probably be so nice and thick that I might not even need liner, but I do my own. And so I just lay them up there and hope that I'm hitting something, and there's no way that I could do every single lash like I do for my own clients. So So what I'm going for is the same amount of lid real estate showing on each side. And the pencil's pretty good, but I have to say I still prefer to use a brush and a gel pot eyeliner. Not exactly even yet. There. Okay, almost done with the eyes. Now we're going to do some on the rise mascara on my lower lashes. I've never used this before, so we'll see how it goes. I absolutely feel like I have to have some mascara on the bottom lashes because they're blonde and completely invisible. So that helps just a little bit. And I do like this mascara. You can actually see my lower lashes. Okay, now on to the brows. And I have two shades of the Thick It Stick It. I have the taupe for on days when I don't want as much color. Also have the brunette, which we're going to try today. This is good if you need your actual hairs darkened. For filling in though, you would need something else. And this is all of the NYX brow products that I have. So I'm not going to use anything else. I'm going to be true to what I said. Full face of NYX. And even though I don't have a lot of brow hairs, they can be kind of unruly. So I hope this really, the stick it part of the name actually does work. It is one of the better ones of brow mascaras that actually holds the brows in place, I think. Okay, now we're ready to move on to complexion. And I know they say that you're supposed to start in the middle and move out toward the edge of your face, but I kind of prefer a really light covering near the jawline and around the perimeter. So I'm going to go with this Born to Glow, and it is in vanilla. And it is a radiant foundation, but I think it kind of functions more like a tinted moisturizer almost. And I'll start application with just my fingers. And if I need more blending, that's when I go to either this sponge or a brush. I just think it looks more natural using a moisturizer if you can get away with it on the perimeter of the face. And then where I have more pores, visible pores, that's where I like to go in with an actual good coverage foundation. And today we're going to use the Can't Stop Won't Stop, and this is in the shade Light. I prefer a foundation that pulls more cool. And so this foundation is really good at hiding the pores. If you'll notice, I pull it down and you can see them. But if you keep blending and pushing in, then your pores just kind of disappear. Then for areas where I have some broken capillaries, I do like to use my NYX Mineral Stick Foundation in shade 01. Okay, now we're going to try the NYX Wonder Stick. It is contour and highlighters. I'm going to do some contouring first. It's very cool. This is in the light shade. So if you've never done contouring before, this is a good one to start with. Very beginner friendly. All right, so I've taught this trick before, but if you're going to do your jowls, you have to kind of come up to where they are and cover them. We're going to put them in a shadow. And then I have my favorite blending brush for that. It looks like this. I can start on one end with the tiny brush, and I go down, not down this way, but just straight down toward the tip of the nose. Kind of connect that to the brow. And then blend it out. I take the big end, just go all over. And I like to go straight up. And my hair comes down and covers part of my forehead, so sometimes I don't even do much makeup on those parts. I go up and up with the cheekbone contour. And here we go with the jaw. So you just kind of blur that line. And come down. You do not want to get right in here. If you want it to look natural, that area is protected and stays out of the sun so it doesn't get as dark as the rest of your neck. And then you can come straight across here. Okay, now I'm going to go straight into bronzing the areas kind of that I just contoured, and I'm going to use the Buttermelt bronzer. This was it's number 2, all butted up. And I want to be really careful with this because I think this does have a little bit of shimmer, which I don't like in my bronzer. However, I really do like this bronzer. You know how I love the wonderful smells. It does smell kind of coconutty. also like to hit the spots of the face that would normally be hit by the sun. Kind of like to push into the hairline. Right. And I also want to show you a dupe that I have found for this. I think I've ordered it before on Temu. Goodness gracious, I've got hairs everywhere. Okay, and it's by Lake Rain. So it looks like this. It's a little bit lighter of a shade. And I do notice it shimmering more, so I'm going to be careful with it. I prefer a matte bronzer, but okay. Now, I also have the Buttermelt blushes, but they are so pigmented that they are not beginner friendly. So when I did the trial run of this, I almost ruined my makeup using those. I prefer these little liquid ones. I've got Nude Tude and Baby Doll, and I like both of them. So I'm going to do a dot of each. And these are beginner friendly. They blend out so well. You can see the difference in those colors. But I'm making my own color. See how that just blended out so well together? And normally, I do like to do a liquid or a cream followed by a powder. And sometimes I like to just kind of take a sponge and pick a little bit of that up. But I will kind of show you this one. It's Feeling Butter. And I'm going to use an angled brush for this. Okay, this is the Alter Ego angled brush. Just barely gonna. Okay, now before I set my makeup with the Can't Stop, Won't Stop powder in Fair, I'm going to kind of go in and make sure that I don't have any creasing. And this is just a big fluffy goat hair brush that I found super duper cheap. Okay, now before we go in with doing some lips, I'm going to set the makeup with the Marshmallow Setting Spray. It's a matte finish. It also smells divine. So, here we go. Very nice. All right, moving on on to lips. We've got a Line Out Loud, and this one is, the color is called Trophy Life. And I avoid the inner part of the lips. Kind of skip it. Jump down to here. Okay, and now this is Shine Loud in Fierce Flirt. So it has 2 steps. And then there's a clear sealing part. Gives the shine. I'm also going to add a little bit of lipsticks. This is Shout Loud and Cali. I like to have kind of a more nude color in the center. We have it. Now, I almost forgot that the Wonder Stick has the highlighter part because I love highlight. So I like to do tip of the nose, Cupid's bow, bridge of the nose, brow bone, above and below the brow. Little bit on the forehead, a little bit on the chin, and last but not least, the cheekbone. I like that. It's very subtle. So there we have it with our full face of NYX products for the over 50 gal. Thank you for watching. Remember, together we have everything. Don't forget to hang on to the very end for some nostalgic moments.